everybody and welcome to my video, Getting Tidier. I hope you're all well and you're having a good week. So in this video it's going to be a bit of a mix. It's a longer video than normal because the first part of it is me tidying, sorting my normal kind of video, and then right at the end, for those of you that are interested, I've done a little clip as to where we went earlier in the week. So I hope you find it enjoyable. I start the video with sorting out from our few days away. So yes, you will see me using a washing basket that I've used to transport items around the house. But you'll see me do washing, cleaning, trying to sort out all the paperwork. At the moment, I've got an immense amount of paperwork that I've fallen behind on. I've got lots and lots of letters that have come through the door that I need to do something with, and at the moment they were sitting in a big pile. Also, in the lounge, for a long time I had the papers spread across the entire floor because I had a glass of water next to where I sit that went over and went on all the papers. So I had to quickly separate them all and spread them all over the floor. I think I probably got 2 sheets of paper completely damaged and completely useless. All the others I managed to save. So after a few days away, I have got some washing to do. And I'd also got a little bit of washing in my linen, me and my husband's linen basket and my daughter's linen basket. 1 white load of washing and all the rest are coloureds. 1 pair of trousers I realised were very, very badly worn and got a hole in them. So I've dried them and sent them to charity shop for rags. So something else got out of the house. I've only now got 1 pair of jeggings that actually fit me comfortably. So I really need to do some exercise. I think the big thing that I've noticed is this not doing the school walks. Because I was doing, 10, 20, 30, 40 minute walking a day. And I'm just not doing that. So you'll also see me clearing out the windowsill, and that does make me laugh. Brooke mentioned about this. A few months ago, people were talking quite a lot about my windowsill and all the things on my windowsill. And what I decided to do was to clear and sort my windowsill and not put anything back on the windowsill that doesn't belong there. So I've now got a couple of items that need to have new homes, but I've decided the home is not the windowsill. You'd also see me hanging out washing. I do quite a lot of work to try and sort out the dining room table because the table has got a bit of a muddle again. So I sorted through lots of that. I wanted to do some work on the playroom, but we just haven't had time today. So we had a really nice time away. So we went on Monday. And my husband's got the really, really early train. And so, because he went to work in London. And then me and my daughter got the taxi at about 9:15. Only the taxi was a little bit earlier. And we were ready. So he said, "Oh, are you sure?" And I said, "Yes, yeah, we're ready, that's fine." And then we got to the train station at 2 minutes to 9. And the train was due at 9. So I quickly beeped the tickets through. My husband had sort of put everything on my phone and set everything up for me. So I quickly, beeped the tickets through. And the man said, "Oh, do you want the London train?" I said, "Yes, please." And he said, "Work quick. You don't have to run, but it's about to leave." So we did. We ran, opened the door. We got on the train, so we got closer towards, the platform. And then once we were on, we then walked all the way down and found some seats with a little table. And so we got in quite quickly and we took some bits on the train to do, which was good. A couple of little games, and we played things like hangman and that sort of thing. And then when the train arrived, I do like to have a bit of a plan when we go to London. London is such a big city. As I've said many times in my video, people who say, "Oh yes, I go to London and see it in 2 days." You can't really see much at all in 2 days. There's so much to see and so much to do. I've only ever really scratched the surface of London. I really have, and I've been quite a few times. So we had a plan on the Monday that my daughter wanted to go to a kawaii shop. They have got a few in London, but I don't think they've got any in the whole of East Anglia. So we made a point to go there. And then after that, I wanted to do like a little walk near the Tower of London, or I wanted to go to Little Venice. So we went round the shop called Miniso, had a little look round at some different bits and pieces, and my daughter spent some of her pocket money and birthday money, and I got a couple of things for her like reward box. So I don't know if I've talked about this before, but we do have a little system and we've had it for years. And it's like a little reward system. So how it works is for certain things, my daughter gets stars. It's a little bit like pocket money, but it's not pocket money. So for certain things, she'll get stars. So if she practices the viola or practices the violin, or she does a particular extra piece of homework, like extra maths, she gets a star on her chart. She might get a star on her chart for helping mummy or helping daddy or just doing something particularly well. And then once she's got a whole line, she gets to choose something from things that I put in a pot. So while we were at this kawaii shop, I chose a few extra things that I thought that she'd like for her like reward pot. And then after that, we went to this place called Little Venice. Now, I wanted to go there last October and we ran out of time. And I do show a little clip of it. It made me laugh because I follow a YouTuber called Suitcase Monkey. For those of you that like travelling, I'd recommend him and his wife. And he does some little clips of London, and he's quite funny how he talks about Little Venice, and I agree with him. It doesn't bear any correlation, any resemblance at all to Venice. But I quite like the name. I like the quirkiness of it. I like the boats. I like the atmosphere. I like the kind of calmness of it all, given it's so close to the centre of London. So that was well worth a little wander around. And then we went back to the hotel and had a little swim. And then my husband finished work, and at the same time as having the swim, and we'd had dinner together as well. And then on the Tuesday, my husband was off work, which was good. So we went to the Science Museum, my goodness, you could spend days there. I mean, we lost an hour, like on one floor, just looking around the different things they've got to do. There's so much to see and do there. There's some bits that I'm not that interested in, but, you know, we all like different things, don't we? So I'm not that interested in seeing all the aircraft. My husband loves that. But there were lots of things, like all stuff about biology and your genes. That was all right up my street. I find all that fascinating. And then after that, we had a little wander around, looked in a few different shops, just generally sort of looked round. Then we had dinner. My husband and daughter went for another dip in the pool. I didn't, because I've still got this cold thing. I thought I'd got it on last Friday from having too much halloumi. But I don't think it was that. I think it was the case of the halloumi. I think I was already fighting like some sort of cold. And then if I have too much dairy, and I did have too much of this halloumi, that can then cause like me to have a sore throat and blocked nose. And I think that was just combined. So I felt like quite tired. So they went and enjoyed some pool time, and I just relaxed. And I did a little bit of tidying up in the hotel room, to be honest. You'll see that later on if you get that far. And you think, how I'd only been there, we'd only been in that hotel room for like one day. How does it get so untidy? Dear me, dear me. And then on the Wednesday, I'd booked tickets for the National Gallery. I've highly recommended, but sadly, because of all these issues with protesters, you've probably seen it in the news, where one of Van Gogh's paintings got some soup or something thrown on it. Sadly, because of all that behaviour, the rest of us are now feels like we're being punished. The time slot session last year, you book your slot and you walk in at that slot. This year, you book your slot and wait 40 minutes. And it was all because they were searching in every single person's bag. But the whole system was flawed in so many ways. So unfortunately, the people don't all speak English, so it's quite difficult to communicate. So I went up to the desk and he said, "Have you got any drinks?" So I said, no, I haven't got any drinks, but we have got medicine here. It was. I said, yeah, liquid. He said, but no drinks. I said, no drinks, just liquid medicine. Oh, that's fine. So he let me in, and then afterwards I also realised I'd got like this knife in my bag to cut up the pepper, and I thought the antihistamine is the medicine. That could have been like some sort of acid. I'd got a knife there which you could do some damage with, given that the paintings aren't protected. So I think they've sort of a bit of a knee-jerk reaction. So now they're all looking for if someone's going to throw some Fanta or some Coke over a painting. They're not thinking about the other things that people could potentially do. But we did my little plan that I talked about the other day. So there's specific paintings that I wanted to see, specific things my daughter wanted to see. And then it becomes like a game of hide and seek. And we get very excited when we finally find the painting that we've been looking for. And at the age that she's now, she's so good for that sort of thing. She was so good with the London Underground. Some of the time she was quicker than me. She's like, oh, mummy, yeah, northbound or southbound. She's become really quick with that. In a year, I can just really see how much she's changed in the year. Because last year, she didn't really sort of notice or take any of it in. And this year, she's, working the directions out herself. So you can see I've made a difference to the table. It's still not quite how I want it to be, but then there's still things on the table that are being used today, tomorrow, etc. You can also see my little ladybird timer, I hope, which I'm making a point of using regularly. Okay, so I've talked quite a lot, so I'm now going to go through some of your wonderful comments, and thank you so much to those of you that take the time to add comments to my posts. It really helps me. Lovely. Well done. Well done. That's lovely.
Thank you.
Done a really good job of that.
My bag.
Pardon? What other one have you got to do? A scale? So, first comment I'm going to read through today is from Carolyn. Carolyn says, "Your poor baby girl. I'm not trying to be a jerk, but your daughter is 3 times busier than any child I know. No, I would never ever think that you would ever be a jerk, Carolyn. And I do understand what you're saying. She is busy. So I replied saying she could cut out something, but the question is what? And Carolyn replied with, whatever is the least important to her. She has lessons for instruments, languages, she likes dancing, guides. Well, the good news is that she's now switched. So she did violin, viola and flute. She did piano with me for a little while. but she has formal lessons, violin, viola and flute. But we decided just before the summer holidays that she would focus on the viola. She doesn't want to get rid of the violin. She wants to keep hold of the violin and she wants to play it every so often. But that means on a weekly basis that she's just having viola lessons, not violin lessons. So that's one less thing to practice, which is particularly good. And now she's trying to get these little ducks. And you get a little duck if you do 5 practices in a week, which is quite difficult if you're also trying to practice 2 other instruments. So she's dropped that. For languages, she does Spanish and French at school, and she does Italian outside of school. But now, Italian-wise, she's only having a lesson about every 5 or 6 weeks. So that's kind of just me to put it in my diary and just make sure she gets there, or my husband. And she just has very little bit of homework from that. She doesn't really have that much. And dance, she does like dancing, and she wants to go back and do her dancing, which I would quite like her to do, because I think it's good to have a sport when you're younger. But we've not gone back to the dance school yet, just partly because she's got so much homework. So yeah, I mean, at the moment, Monday she's got choir, Tuesday she has flute, and she sees my mum on Tuesday or Wednesday, which, to be honest, seeing my mum and my dad is more important than any hobbies really. Yes, then Wednesday she's got band and guides. Thursday she sees my dad, and she's been doing like a 15 minutes after school maths club, but that's just very, very short amount of time, and then I pick her up straight after. And then Friday she doesn't have a club. So when you start looking at it like that and you think, well, what do you cut out? If she stops doing choir, that means that she won't be part of any of the music concerts at school. If she stops going to bands, that means she won't have that sort of playing in a group, in a band or an orchestra, because that's the only kind of group music activity she's part of. That will also mean that she won't get to do the little concerts, which I think is good for her. She loves guides. We do a big mix of stuff at guides, and she really enjoys that. And then Italian is only really every sort of month-ish, and I'm hoping that she'll do her GCSE early. So it's kind of hard to think, what do you stop? I don't think I told you, I was really pleased on her last lesson. I do sit in the lesson still for a number of reasons. Partly because the teacher obviously doesn't know anything about like medicine and that sort of thing. And also I want to make sure the teacher is actually doing everything in Italian. I'd like her to only speak Italian, as I've told you before. But last lesson, the teacher set her loads of work, and she said how her adult students wouldn't be able to do it. So I was very pleased with that. So Carolyn, I agree with you, but the question is, what? What can we stop more? Karen says very pricey sale items, haha. Yeah, that did make me laugh. Sophia Rose says, your style is so unique. I love your content. Thank you, Sophia. Sally Bombali says, selling washi tape back to the person who bought it to you at a good profit margin too is absolute genius. I hope you're saving up for university fees. That girl is going far in life. Oh, she does really make me laugh. I said back to Sally that when she was younger, she did all these like watercolour paintings, and they were really lovely. And I was looking at one thinking, oh, I could get that framed, and I put that up in my house. I thought it was really quite pretty what she'd done. But then she set out a stall in the dining room selling all these pictures. So she said to me, you need to be a tourist. Can you be a tourist and come to my stall? I said, yeah, okay. So I did my best Scottish accent and went along and pretended to be a tourist, and I bought a picture. So after that, she came back. She said, thank you for being a tourist. Now can you come back as mummy? So I was then expected to go back to the stall as mummy and obviously buy another painting. That did make me laugh. I do. I didn't. I do have savings accounts for her, but I didn't do a specific account for university until my friend's daughter went to university. And after hearing at how expensive everything is, I now pay an amount of money from my account and an amount of money from my husband's account, from his salary and from my salary, both go into her university account. So yes, we are saving up for university. Made me laugh when I just now thought about how I'd sort of explained that. It's only because I sort out everything to do with the money. So that the money that I said, it comes from my husband's account. We've got a joint account, and then my salary still goes into the original account that always did. But basically all our money goes into one pot in the end. That's just how I manage it, if that makes sense. Next comment said, your phone works like you actually have a landline. I don't think they let us have those anymore. We only have cell phones. I think businesses like doctors and hospitals and places like that still have them, but I don't know anyone with a house phone. Yes, I do. We do still have one. We've actually got 2 landline telephone numbers, but we don't actually use it, and I don't actually think it's charged. If it was charged, I might use it. The thing is, if you don't have a landline at all, in some places, there's just not the reception. So if I tried to call my in-laws, for example, their mobile phones wouldn't work. So you do need that. Barbara says, cute table in the hall, almost like a jewellery box. Yeah, it's a little sewing box. And Carolyn says, I can't believe all those bits are on that table. I know, it was like piled up, wasn't it? And then Barbara says, I would love one of your macrame plant holders. I also collect shells and do crafts with them with my granddaughters. Oh, that's lovely. That's lovely to hear. And how old are your granddaughters, Barbara? Nan Holmes says, I would love one of your macrame hangers. Once I figured out what you were saying, lol. Texas is the best state in our nation, and yes, I'm a Texan. Oh, there are quite a few people following along from Texas. Then Cynthia says, so Cynthia thought for a minute that my daughter was called Natasha. So my daughter is not called Natasha. I talked about Natasha because Natasha was the allergy charity. So Cynthia says, regarding your daughter's little store, when my grandchildren were 6 and 8, we played grocery store. I saved empty plastic containers and boxes. Each child built their own store out of boxes and had toy cash registers. We had play money and took turns shopping. They loved this game, and we already had cash registers from other games. No cost to me and great fun for them. Cynthia, your grandchildren will remember that forever, that sort of play. Today, after my daughter had done different homework bits, she's very, very keen to do all of her homework and get it all done now without any fuss or any bother, and get it done really quickly because she wants these stars on her chart in order to get one of the things that we just got from the shop that I told you about. So she's very keen to do all her work. But after she'd done her homework, she said, oh, I'm going upstairs now. I'm going to set up a boutique. So I said, okay. And then shortly after, I was asked whether I wanted to visit the boutique. There was a little sign on the door with the opening hours. I had to knock twice for an appointment, and then I opened the door, and there my daughter sat with a little chair, taking the appointment details. And then once I booked the appointment in, I had to close the door again. And then when it got to the time, I had to come back, knock 3 times, and I was allowed into the boutique. I had a hand massage. I had hand cream put on my hands. I had my nails covered in this strengthening varnish. And then I got to choose the colour that I wanted my nails. And I've got to be honest, the lady, young girl in the boutique, has done a lovely job with my nails. Although the lady did say now I needed to start recommending the boutique to other people so she could get more customers in. I said I'd recommend the shop to my husband, but he would not want his nails painted, but he might like a little hand massage. Oh, that sort of play, I think, is very, very, very important. It's funny because I can remember years ago, my daughter was about 2, and someone who I used to go to school with, she put on her Instagram account some sort of meme which was about let children be bored. And that really resonated with me because her experience is that as a teacher, nowadays children are constantly entertained. You know, a child can't just sit in a buggy and look around. That has to have a tablet. A child can't just can't sit at the dinner table. I mean, I'm shocked that people go to have. I know everyone has to do their own thing, don't they? But just I'm personally shocked when I see at dinner, at breakfast, at lunch, that children don't need to interact anymore with the people on the table because they just get that instant entertainment of a screen. And I thought, yes, she's right. And she struggles as a teacher because then the expectation is the teachers have to constantly entertain. And what I realised is that when you don't give a child something to do, off they go and do, and they create something. And she said that she wanted to do something on her tablet. And I said, no, the tablet's not going on. You can have the tablet on when you put your television on, because she casts with the tablet to watch YouTube. I said, but no, I don't want that on. And off she went and created this boutique, which is really lovely. Christy said, hi Emma, I really enjoy your videos. I had so much decluttering and cleaning to do in my house. Unfortunately, a huge old tree came down on my house during Hurricane Helen. Keep up the good work. Your friend Christy from South Carolina, USA. And Rebecca replied, oh no, how awful. I hope you're okay. And Robin says, yikes, so much destruction from Helen and Milton. So sorry you lost your things. I hope nobody was hurt. And then I said, goodness, Christy, has it badly damaged your house then? I'm glad you're okay, but sad that it happened. So, Christy, that sounds absolutely horrendous. So please do let us know how you're getting on. We hope that things aren't too bad. Is your house savable? I don't know, obviously, how much damage. It sounds awful. If there's an old oak tree, that's going to be strong, really strong. So I am concerned about that. So please let us know. I'm from Hull near the East Coast. I'd love one of your hangers. Keep up the good work. You're amazing. Oh, what a lovely comment. Thank you. Runs Morning says, love the videos. Hello from Vancouver in Canada. I'd love to be considered for a holder. Thank you for your post. Jane says, I love always savvy. P.S. The magic faraway tree is still my favourite. I still have a copy I read. Oh, that's lovely. I think it's really important. I mean, I love reading those stories as an adult. And I think it's really important to remember kind of those stories and reflect on those as you do get older. I think that, I don't know, kind of keeps the imagination alive. Paper Playground says, fitting in quick chores is a great way to stay caught up. I empty my dishwasher every day while waiting for toast. I also load the dishwasher as I cook, and once done eating, everything is put away and cleaned up. This miracle can only happen though because I'm retired. You asked about my name. I make all sorts of journals, like junk journals and booklets, and give them away. So I have masses of paper and glue and paints, typically covering my entire dining room table. It's a paper playground. I love that. Blessings from Texas. That sounds great fun, and sounds like you're very creative. Thank you for sharing that. And Linda Van Oostel, sorry if I've pronounced that incorrectly. Sometimes it's quite hard to read the name because YouTube squashes the name up. But Linda says, we had a female black belt on our farm all the time we lived there, 40 years. She would have twin cubs every other year. We got used to each other. I came up on her in the dark while her and her cubs were eating fallen plums. She just looked at me, huffed at her cubs and walked away. I think she just got used to my husband and I. The stories I could tell. One of our outdoor cams took pictures of her. She stood up on her back legs trying to get some fruit. And she was over 8 foot tall. She was huge. We sent the pictures to a wildlife refuge and they took measurements and said she was the biggest they've ever seen. I think she was happy and full of all the fruit from our orchard. She did keep the grounds cleaned up and the bees away. What an amazing story. Thank you for sharing that with us. Linda, can you remind me of what state you're from? Because I've forgotten. I'd be over the moon to think that you could see a bear so closely. Although I would obviously be very wary also, because you don't know if something sort of spooked her. You never quite know. They're such strong animals. I think that's amazing. I'm really pleased to read that. Coffee Loving Queen says, oh yes, I do remember Enid Blyton books. I live in the Netherlands and all her books are translated in Dutch. I read Mallory Towers in the Dutch version. The main character was called Pity. And then there were the famous five and the five find outers. I loved them all. Oh. Brooke says, I read A Wrinkle in Time in school. Bridge to Terabitha? Is that right? As it was not one I would have chosen for myself. I wonder if they still have the card catalogue and the card system inside the books now. How many of the books in my school would still have my name in them, since it seemed I was constantly checking out books. So you were always interested in studying then, Brooke? They're so good when children, I think, are interested in reading and books and studying and learning. I think if you like learning from a young age, you become a lifelong learner. That's what I think anyway. That book that we got recently, the Italian one, which is really old, when I took that to the Italian teacher, I just wanted her to flick through it just to double check that it was age appropriate, because it's an adult book on Pinocchio, so you would hope that it would be. But what she said was, because of its age, actually, you know when you read some English and like it's old English, well, the Italian book was like old Italian. And she said there's words in that you would never ever use. So I'm not sure how useful it's going to be really. So I'm probably going to take that back. Cami says at 25:44 you shred your mail like I do. Rip off the address and shred it into pieces. Ha ha. I used to have a real shredder, but I burned up the motor. Yeah, we've got so many papers that needed shredding. And when my in-laws were on holiday, my husband borrowed the shredder. But then we were so worried that we were going to break it, he just took it back. LC Buttercup says Enid Blyton has the best children's books when I was little. I remember my mum and dad reading them to me at bedtime. Very lovely memories. And then next up, Corinne, 89. What a difference in your kitchen top. I'm following you for some time and since May I could not watch for a time. And now again seen this October. What a lovely clean kitchen top. Great. Oh, thank you for coming back. And thank you for your comments. And then Zoe Brindle says, delightful ending to the video. Well done, Mini Emma. I just laughed and giggled when you changed the stickers so Mum wasn't buying back her own frog stickers. Excellent work, Mini One. Re Monkeys. I had CBT a few years ago and she used a backpack full of dirty laundry. Each topic we talked about was an item of clothing washed and put away until the backpack was empty. That's a nice mental image, isn't it? So talking about something, dealing with it, washing it, and then putting it away. I like that. I do like that. Reshaving legs. I personally don't care if anyone spots the hairs on my legs. They're 57 years old and stop my body from fraying. Emma, I really do identify with you on so many levels. Enid Blyton, Faraway Tree and the rest, just marvellous. Macrame hanger I'd love. Please enter me in the raffle. Sending lots of love to you and all your subscribers. And Zoe sent me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 autumn leaves and 6 cute little hedgehogs. Thank you for your lovely post, Zoe. I do really like it. The people that follow my channel, there's so many similarities between us. I guess it's because, you know, the things that I talk about and, you know, what I'm trying to do and so on. You're here to listen and to follow along. And those people that then follow have got similar interests or similar things in their life. But I just think it's so lovely. You're all so lovely. I feel very lucky to have kind of come in contact with you all. So just a reminder that I'm going to choose another charity, and I'm going to give any money that I make from my charity. I don't make large amounts from my channel, but I do make a little bit. So anything that I make, I'm going to give to a charity. I think it will probably be for the whole month of November. So we'll be doing it plenty in advance, so you'll all know in advance this time. So I added a post 3 days ago. If you hadn't yet had a chance to vote, please do have a little look. I've had 97 votes so far, and at the moment 80% of people have voted for the charity that helps needy families with financial struggles and food bank, that sort of support. And 20% of people have voted for the small cancer charity. Now, both charities are really, really important and do a great deal of good in the local community in Norfolk, where I live. And please do cast your vote, and whichever comes the highest, I'm going to choose for the month of November. So the next comment is from Janet, and Janet says, your daughter is 12. She has serious allergies. You doing what you're doing. You're a great mum. Oh, thank you for saying that, Janet. That's very kind of you. And a couple of you did also comment about, people not giving views on how people parent. I can remember my mother-in-law talking about someone that we both know through like another family member, and she was telling me about how this lady was having her son in bed and she was going to end up with like problems and he wasn't going to sleep and all this. And I just sat listening to the story and thought, I'm not that person. I'm not that child. Really, just because you've been a parent for one child or 2 children or 10 children doesn't mean to say you know how all parenting works and how all children work. And I just listened to the story and thought, this young woman is doing what she can to kind of get through these whole sleeping problems and the difficulties that she was having in life. And I guarantee that the little boy's still not going to be sleeping in her bed when he's 16. And I feel like sometimes people are very quick to make judgments on other people and what they're doing and how they're doing it. Well, really, it's not for us to be making those judgments. She was just trying to get through a difficult point in time. She said, oh, well, I said to her, you're making a rod for your own back. It's funny how you've also said to me about how everyone's got an opinion on how to do this, how to do that. I think that's right. As soon as you have a child, everyone and anyone thinks that they can make comments about your child. Although, even strangers, I can remember an old lady looking over my pram and looking at my beautiful eczema, and that is not really a helpful thing to say to a new mum, is it? Her wonderful baby looks like it's been in the wars. Sharon Mummy says, I was very involved with both my sons during school years and early years, and even now we were involved in both of their lives. Anytime my 28-year-old needs us, we are there, no questions. I don't care what anyone has to say about that. We don't interfere, but we are not indifferent or distant just because they're adults. Now, my youngest has Down syndrome and is 18, and so he does need us all the time, but we give him as much independence as is safe. There are so many parenting techniques, and you have to do what feels right and feels safe. I would never tell someone I think they aren't involved enough, even if I thought as much. So why does being more involved and some feel they need to be get them judging? That's so right, isn't it? That's so right. It's always that it feels like there's that way round that people are more critical. And I actually wonder, Sharon, you've made me think about this. I actually wonder, you've put that. Maybe they feel it highlights a lack of involvement and inadequate themselves in some way. Who knows, but their opinion is neither required nor desired. Never tell someone else how to parent their child. Yeah, that's very true. Maybe that's part of the problem. When people are very opinionated in that sort of way, like if they feel like you're doing too much or they didn't agree with us going on the break or whatever, they feel it's suitable to comment. It's really none of their business, as many of you have said. That sounds like you fantastic mother, Sharon. And the fact that you've got two very, very different children, but you're always available there for your 28-year-old, that whenever they need you, you're available. I think that's very, very important. Thank you for that post. That's very insightful. Lisa says, I'm intrigued by the pineapple fritter and may have to look up a recipe. Here in the States, they will deep fry just about anything. Now, the interesting thing is, Lisa, it seems that some of the people from the United Kingdom who've commented, that seems to be that places do sell pineapple fritters in Chinese takeaways. Now, what I've actually wondered is the fish and chip shops that I've been to, maybe some of them are run by Chinese families. So that could be one possibility. And so they've learned, oh, actually, we like pineapple fritters. But I remember having pineapple fritters for years. But who knows what the history is of them. Lisa says, a few things I saw at the State Fair this year were Oreos, Snick bars and donuts. You've really come a long way with getting tidier and turning your mindset to decluttering. It really is a process. I've had my house mostly clutter-free for many years. My mother passed away in June, and now I've brought many of her things into my home. I just couldn't get rid of so many things. I know it'll be easier as time passes and everything won't seem so important. I'm giving myself lots of grace and just taking my time finding new homes for everything. Oh, it's a good job that your house was so well decluttered. Like you said, your house is mostly clutter-free, and it had been for many years. But the thing is, this is a process, and I just replied back to Lisa to say, very, very important to take time. Take time to decide what to keep, and where to put things, and that I feel Lisa's approach sounds perfect. It's important not to rush with those sorts of things. N. Shawnee says, in the US, we have the donation metal bins in many parking lots or sides of buildings. I've learned, make sure the bin is actually a charity. There are many that ship the clothes around the world and usually end up as someone else's problem and not sold for charity. Makes one's head spin with checking up on things. But I thought I'd mention it if someone would like to know. Thank you for sharing that. I agree. When you start looking into some of these things, you think, cool, I've made my life so much more complicated now. But it's so important, isn't it? You know, who wants their stuff to be ended up in waste in some other country and not used for what you actually are hoping it's going to be used for? Jane says, hi Emma, another great video. I had a terrible time with empty nests when my children left for uni, but now a few years on, I'm enjoying time with my grandchildren, so I'm getting to live it all again. Oh, I'm loving it. My husband is a big Beatles fan. Oh, Jane's talking about Liverpool again. I really, really, really want to go on one of these tours. Jane puts, my husband is a big Beatles fan, and we did the tours in Liverpool. The best one is the National Trust tours of Paul and John's childhood homes. Yeah, they're the ones I want to go to. Well worth a visit. I hope you enjoy London. P.S. Love me some chips and gravy, but I'm a northerner. Oh, do you know, Jane, you'll laugh. Went to the Build-A-Bear workshop in London because there's no Build-A-Bear workshops in the whole of East Anglia. And my daughter wanted a toy there. And after much umming and ahhing, and I'll tell you a bit of the story some other time, but what we decided was that she could have it for Christmas. So she made it up, she chose what she wanted, and then she's not going to see it again. It's going to be put away for Christmas. But the lady who served me, I didn't understand what she was saying. And I had to say pardon, and then she replied again, and I realised, I said, are you from the northeast? And she said, yes. I know you put a northerner, but I'm just talking, I just remind me of this. She said, yes. I said, oh, I'm sorry. I said, I just wasn't expecting your accent being so far away. I said, I go up to Durham quite regularly, and I had a little chat with her. She's in London for university. But I think partly we had so many situations where people are working in shops and or in restaurants or in hotels and they can't speak English. That when she initially spoke, I thought, oh, is this another person and then I twigged, it's the northeast northeast accent. I love that accent. And she was very, very friendly. But we had a couple of situations in the hotel, actually, because I was trying to sort out my daughter's breakfast. That was really hard. The man said, oh, if you've got any allergies, then speak to this man and this man. But no, neither of them spoke fluent English. So, for example, they had all the containers of the different cereals that had all been taken out of the boxes and put in containers. So the Cocoa Pops was next to the cornflakes, was next to things with nuts, etc., etc. So I then said, would I please be able to have a look at the box that they came in? So he smiled at me and gave me a bowl. So I said, oh no, would I be able to read the box to check the ingredients? So then he passed me a different bowl. So I was really concerned. So I was thinking, how am I going to be able to work out what the ingredients in the free-from bread are and so on? So here I thought I'd just show you a little clip of our London break. So I've put it right at the ends because some people aren't so interested in what I get up to other than decluttering and tidying and cleaning. So I thought I'd show you the little walk that we made to go to Liverpool Street Station through to the hotel. And then you see the hotel room. My daughter enjoyed playing on the little spinny chair. I show you like the little entrance section, and if you want to play like table tennis and that sort of thing, there was a little place to play games. And I thought I'd just show you a few little clips so you can see where we went. So this clip of Minnesota. Then that was just a clip of Little Venice, where, as I told you all about, we had a little walk along the river, which was nice. And it's incredible when you see like the history and tradition against these incredibly modern buildings. I find it fascinating. Also on some of our walks, we saw some really lovely traditional English pubs. And I show you a little clip of when I did a crazy tidy up, because I just looked at the hotel room and I thought, oh my goodness, we've only been here about 28 hours and there's stuff everywhere. So you see me getting tidier for a little bit in the hotel room. And then you'll see a few clips of the Science Museum where, like I said, we were only there for like a morning, but you could easily spend days in there. So we'll definitely go back some other time. It's free to enter as well, which is just incredible. And given the crisis situation we are in this country, I'm amazed that they haven't started introducing a fee. You can see my daughter then playing with some artistic dots as she moves around. They move with her. And she made some decisions in terms of someone's life and learnt about feelings. And you had to put your hand in the feely box, which I was made to do first because it was a bit scary. You can see a couple of clips of our magnificent buildings in London. Absolutely beautiful. This is all the museum area. And then we walked along South Bank, where you see Big Ben in the distance and the Houses of Parliament and the London Eye, which moves very, very slowly, but just gives impressive views of across the city. Not that I've ever been. It's something that I've not done. And then we went in to Build-A-Bear, because our Build-A-Bear workshop closed down. And my daughter did also decide when we got back to the hotel, she opened up something that she bought herself out of money that she's been saving and some of her birthday money. She has a little bit of her own money, so she did a little blind bag box unopening. And then I did this video because there's a tower there which is really, really old, like something like, I don't know, 1300s or something. And then you've got all those really old buildings around it. We popped into Hamleys, which is always great fun. I love looking around there. I wanted to go into the Sylvanian family section, but unfortunately we didn't have time because we were looking for one particular item and it wasn't there, and we had to then go to the other shop back that we'd been to the day before. And then I loved the London Eye against this beautiful blue sky. and again with those really old buildings. It's a lovely walk through here.
I never realised the London and I went so slow. Mama. Help.
Doors closing.
Ready?
It'll stop at 13.
Oh, go on. It's not going to stop at 13. Oh, we're stopping. I'm not stopping.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
I'm going to stop us at ground.
Ground floor. And I included that because my daughter had been saying, oh, I want the lift went so fast. That was almost like you could feel it in your stomach. So she said, I want to go to the 14th floor, because that's right at the top, and then see if we can go all the way down. And on the way up, that kept stopping each floor. I said, on the way down, it's going to end up stopping. But we didn't. We went all the way up to the 14th floor and went all the way down to 0. And I recorded it at the same time. And I end with a few pictures from the National Gallery. So these are some of our favourites. I think my favourite is probably the winter scene. I really love that. That's my daughter's favourite as well. And I also like the Frans Hals one. And then a couple of pictures from Carnaby Street and some other places. So thank you so much for watching my video. Thank you for your likes, your comments, your suggestions, your ideas and your support. Look out for what I need to be working on in future videos, which I need to get the playroom sorted. And I'll look forward to seeing you in my next video.